How's everybody doing today? Hello, hello, hello. How's everybody doing? Can I hear something? I know we heard you a whole time. Now it's time to start. And you're all perfectly quiet. That's okay. That's okay. That's okay. So we're getting started a little bit late today, but want to thank you for coming and joining us today for our, what month is this? Is this June? Is this June 2023? Want to thank you for joining us for this June 2023 meeting of Minnesota MUFON. Thank you for being here in person. Thank you for being here online. Obviously, we're having some technical difficulties. We're going to try to work through that, and we're going to try to work through that during this month too. So when we get here, we're not still having this every time. So, but we've got a great meeting for you today. So we're going to jump right in. My name is Tom. I am the Minnesota MUFON chapter director, and I'm going to start off with some slides because my directions say after I introduce myself, I go into slides. So let's go to slides. So June 10, 2023 Zoom meeting sponsor. I didn't think we had a Zoom sponsor, but someone sent me a message a little while ago. They said if there's no sponsor for this meeting, they're going to send us money to sponsor this meeting. So Christine has volunteered to sponsor this meeting. So let's give Christine a big round of applause. She's sponsoring the Zoom meeting. So to sponsor our monthly Zoom meeting is $13.49 per month. Or if you want to sponsor our joke of the month, we got a good joke for you this month, I think, is $10. Or if you just want to donate to Minnesota MUFON, you can contact Jan Swenson. Jan is right back there at the desk. You can reach Jan at jan.swenson.pioneer@gmail.com. And of course, our anonymous donor, we had an anonymous donor after last month. So our anonymous donor sent us $500 donation, and this person would like to remain anonymous, but we want to thank that person for their donation. We appreciate their support. I wasn't going to tell you it's $500, but there's something in the financials coming up later. It's important that you know that it's $500. So $500 donation from our anonymous donors. We thank that person very, very much. And so we appreciate and need your donations to continue to bring you our programming every month. So when you come here, we ask for $5 for members and $7 for guests. And to continue to support Minnesota MUFON and our fine programming, you can contact our treasurer, Jan Swenson, at jan.swenson.pioneer@gmail.com. We accept PayPal, Zelle, credit cards, personal checks, and yes, we even accept cash. In today's day and age, we'll still accept cash. Some people won't, but we'll take your cash if we can get it. Just give us your cash, yeah. And your kindness, of course, is appreciated. So Minnesota MUFON chapter director, that's me. So there's a couple things that have been going on that I haven't been sharing with you. So you can hear me on 95 KQDS radio in Duluth on the third Thursday of every month at approximately 8:40 a.m. Days and times are subject to change. You can go to www.95kqds.com for details and recordings. And when I say days and times are subject to change, I really mean that, because I think for the few months I've been doing this, I don't know if I've ever been on the third Thursday at 8:40. I've been on third Thursday at 7:40, and they've moved the dates. And so it's always changing. This past month, I was on like the fourth Thursday, I think, at I don't know what time. So if you want to hear my recordings, I'm on for about 10 minutes talking about UFOs in Minnesota and things like that. So feel free to check out KQ95DS in Duluth. And I'll be kicking off UFO days in Elmwood, Wisconsin on Friday night, July 28th at 7 p.m. in the high school auditorium. The topic I'll be covering will be MUFON, extraterrestrials, and Wisconsin. So you can see more at www.wisconsinfrights.com/Elmwood-UFO-days for more information. And we'd love to get it on video. So if one of you guys do video, and even a simple video, we'd love to have someone come out and do the video because we'd love to capture that. I did talk to the people out in Elmwood. It's going to be at the high school auditorium. Their high school does have an AV department, so they're going to check with the AV department. They're on summer break, but they're going to see if they can get someone from the AV department to come and do it. But just in case, I'd like if we could get a copy of that too, because it was funny. I said to them, because this is like their 44th year doing this, I think. I said, can we record the speaker, or can we record my presentation? And she said, oh, I never even thought of that. And I'm like, really? You never thought of that? But here's an idea. Let's record the speaker. So if you're able to do that, please go ahead and do that. And WisconsinFrights.com, I did not know this. If you go to WisconsinFrights.com, Wisconsin has 3 big UFO events or festivals every year. So Elmwood is just one of 3. So there's the Elmwood UFO Days. The second one, I don't recall what the second one is called, but the third one, because it's got to be in Wisconsin, the third one is UFO Beer Fest. So if you want to go to UFO Beer Fest in Wisconsin, go to WisconsinFrights.com. You can find about UFO Beer Fest in Wisconsin. And who knew? I didn't know, but who knew? So we'd like to announce our next field investigator meeting is going to be on Monday, June 19th at 7 p.m. on Zoom. And actually, if you're not a field investigator yet, but you're interested in being a field investigator, we're inviting people who are interested to come to that meeting. So let me know. You can contact me at MUFONTom@epcoachtom.com. I can get you the link for that, because we'd like people who are interested or curious about being a field investigator, to show up to the meeting, we'd love to have you join us and ask us questions too. So you can get to meet some of the current field investigators, chief investigators, get a feel for our team, what we do, and ask your questions. We'd love to answer them for you. And so all the field investigators, it's always a great day to log on to MUFON University. So MUFON University, you can check your dashboard, read about MUFON University, take Astronomy 101, explore field investigator training, take professional development classes such as MUFON Leadership Style Assessments, which obviously I've got tons of MUFON Leadership Style. If you can tell, I've taken the course. I really haven't. Presentation Design 101, Public Speaking 101, Space Exploration 101, and technology classes such as computers and software applications and more. And they're actually working really hard on updating all the MUFON University stuff. They're trying to get some really good stuff out there for us. And it's kind of funny because I think some of the people down in Kansas are working on it. So as far as the pictures and videos and stuff, right now it's like all stuff from Kansas. So they're trying to get like pictures and videos from around the country, around the world. So it's not all Kansas stuff we're seeing in the university, but one of our goals is we educate the public. So if you know a group that would enjoy a presentation from Minnesota MUFON, it could be a church group or a book club, Lions Club, a Benefactors Club, a Rotary Club, science clubs, social clubs, Knights of Columbus, schools, Boys or Girl Scouts, or any other club or organization that would like a presentation from Minnesota MUFON. Let us know. We'll do that. We don't just do these presentations here. I've gone on the road and done presentations. We can customize it to what your group wants to hear. If you want to hear about UFO sightings in your area, that's great. If you want to hear about the history of MUFON, I can do that too. If you want to hear about becoming a field investigator, how that works, I can present on that too. I can do a whole mix. And so when I go to UFO days in Wisconsin, I'm going to start off talking about MUFON, some of the history of MUFON, how it started, and talk a little bit about field investigation. Then I'm going to give them their very first taste of what's up in Wisconsin. What's up in Wisconsin has never been done. I'm going to do the very first one at Elmwood, or UFO days in Elmwood. You're going to see what's up in Minnesota here today, but no one's ever done what's up in Wisconsin. I'm going to do what's up in Wisconsin there when I'm in Elmwood. My clicker, I wish it might, oh, here we go. So we'd love to have you become a member. If you're not a member, our basic membership is $5.89 per month or $59.88 per year. Our enhanced membership is $9.99 per month or $119.88 per year. And our VIP membership is $299.88 for a full year. And there's different, obviously different features with each different membership type. We'd love to have you become a member if you're not. And for the journal for these memberships, these are the electronic journal type. So if you want the physical hard copy journal, you can get that, but it's an additional, additional $29 to get the hard copy MUFON journal. So, but you can get it online either way. So, and so here's the current MUFON journal. I love, they've been doing really great graphics with the covers of the journals lately. So why I think my father was involved with UFOs for the military. So very interesting. Figuring out UTAI and donating my UFO files. So we put on a journal like this every single month. So this is part of your membership. Again, electronically for the cheaper amount. If you want to pay the extra $29, you can get the hard copy journals sent to your house. And they're very, very nice journals. So I don't know if we got any current journals in the back. I think we might have some old ones, but couple current journals back there. So feel free to look through the journal back there and see what kind of stuff is in it. I think you'll be impressed by it. So to explore the various MUFON membership opportunities and become a MUFON member, go to www.mufon.com/join. So what I do want to point out too, though, if you go there and you join, when you join and enter a Minnesota address, you're automatically a member of the Minnesota chapter, right? There's not a separate membership for us right now. So you join the global with the Minnesota address and you're a Minnesota member. So there's not two separate ones. It just happens automatically. So I know that's kind of a question sometimes because some organizations, you have to join the local or the global chapter, and then you can separately join the local chapter. And that's not how that is right now. So are you a MUFON member? Are you interested in participating in Minnesota MUFON in a bigger way? Are you interested in working closer with the MUFON leadership? You have some technology experience? Where'd she go? Technology experience? She took off. She took off. She had enough of us. She bailed. She booted. She took off when she couldn't take us anymore. So she was abducted. Oh, well, we've got some field investigators in the room. Let's get on that case. So would you like some, or are you a people person? So we're looking for a few volunteers to support us with various tasks. You can help make Minnesota MUFON an even better chapter. Interested parties can speak to me, or you can email me at mufontom@epcoachtom.com for more details. And as you can see, like, we could use some help up here. Next month, I think we're probably going to be online only because we've got people out of town and stuff. We just don't have the people to support and volunteer to make this in-person meeting happen. So we certainly could use the volunteers if you're able. And the 42nd Annual MUFON Symposium, Friend or Foe 2.0 in Cincinnati, Ohio, takes place August 24th through the 27th. The keynote speaker is David Paulides, and registration is now open. And if you notice, the early bird discount is through July 1st. So if you're thinking about doing that, if you want the early bird, July 1st is the cutoff. So you want to get your exclusive discount pricing before that. If you're thinking about it, go ahead and register now. There's lots of good stuff on the website telling you all about it. So. The Minnesota Symposium Fund. So MUFON requires chapter representation at the annual symposium. Minnesota Board of Directors elected to establish a fund to send a representative. And I was surprised. I was on a global a chapter directors call about a month and a half ago. I was surprised at the number of chapters that have directors that can't afford to put the bill to go all the way to the symposium. So a lot of the chapters are raising funds to send a representative to the symposium. So if you'd like to donate to the symposium fund, contact Jan Swenson at jan.swenson.pioneer@gmail.com. I put her email on about 3 or 4 times, so hopefully you'll know that. So, and of course, as always, Minnesota MUFON, we appreciate your donations. So our current MUFON Symposium Fund. So early bird registration was $279. We got that locked in. Field investigator training was $99. We got that locked in for a total of $378 just for the symposium. We locked in our airfare at $437, plus or minus any fees. And our hotel is obviously always a big expense, $930 plus and minus fees. So that's roughly where that is. So approximately the total cost is $1,745, again, depending on airfare, hotel fees, and taxes. So far, we've gotten $445. So everyone who's donated so far, thank you, thank you, thank you. We certainly appreciate your donation. And our remaining goal is $1,300. We can get $1,300. That will cover everything, which would be fantastic. So our contributors, so we'd like to thank the following people for contributing to the 2023 Symposium Fund. I have contributed. Terry Lynn Keel, she was our speaker a couple months back. She took the speaker fee that we pay here. She donated that to the Symposium Fund. So that was very cool that she did that. Anna Scott, one of our board members and ERT members back there, donated, as did Lou Grube, one of our members from Wisconsin who drives over here most months to see us. Bill Auden, one of our field investigators in back, donated, and Christine, one of our faithful online members, she donated. And if you donate to the Symposium Fund, your name could be on this list next month. Think about that. Your name could be on this list. I can make it happen. I can make it happen. So our financials, in May, so this room rental in May was $214.75. Our meetup fees were $16.49. Our web fees were $13.09 a month, and our Zoom fees $13.49 a month for a total of $257.82. Our at the door income was $180. Prepaid meeting fees were $37. So you have an option if you want to prepay your meeting fees. I pay a whole year in advance. So some people pay in advance, so we're not getting it at the door, but we are getting it. So I want to track that there too. Joke of the month donation, we got $10 for our joke of the month. Our Zoom donation. So we normally didn't, I don't think we had a sponsor last month, but somebody went ahead and donated at $20 for that. So it was more than required. So our general donations were $515 for a total of $762. Which brought us a income of $504.18. So that $515, remember, we got that $500 donation. That is part of that $500 donation. So if we hadn't gotten that, it would just be $5 or $15 general donation. And we would have come out ahead on the last meeting, $4.18, which isn't a lot, but I'll confess, I'd rather come ahead $4.18 than be in the whole $4.18. So I'm just trying to give you guys the real numbers where we're sitting at. And since I'm giving the real numbers where we're sitting at, our treasurer, Jan Swenson in the back, she's been negotiating with the New Brighton Community Center to get this room at a lower rate. So this month it's going to be, so next month when I report on June, that 214 is going to be about 168, 170, right in that ballpark range. So Jan got us a discounted rate for ongoing. So let's give Jan a round of applause for all the work she does as treasurer, getting us that discounted rate. So yeah, we really would have made like $4.18 last month. So we'd like to thank all the people who've donated the past few months, and like the $500, you have been very generous to us. You've donated quite a bit. We really do appreciate that very sincerely. We thank you, because we just can't do all of this without your donations. You really help a lot. And you've been very gracious and very generous. And I want to know on behalf of myself, the board of directors, and all the field investigators, we do thank you. We do appreciate you. I never want you to go overlooked or underappreciated. So our MUFON membership, Minnesota MUFON membership. So look at here, we're all the way up to 90 for June. In June, we hit 90. And I'm bringing it up for transparency, whether it's morbid or not. That 90 is actually 89 because Tom Woods, who passed away a few months ago, is still included in that list. So we're actually down one number from there. I'd still love to hit 3 digits this year, if we could. Our high month back in 2021, November, we're at 97. We haven't been at 97 since November 2021. I would love to hit triple digits this year. I'm not sure when Tom is going to fall off, because once his membership expires, he'll just be gone. So we'll be down. So if we can get 11 more, I'd love to hit triple digits this year. So if you're not a MUFON member and you're just a MUFON visitor or guest, please consider joining our organization. We would certainly appreciate that. So if you need to contact me again, you can reach me by email at mufontom@epcoachtom.com, and make sure to check out our Minnesota MUFON website at www.mnmufon.org. And of course, don't forget to check out the global website at www.mufon.com. And as far as our website, mnmufon.org, right now it's not the classiest looking website, but Jared down front here has been working many, many hours long and hard to really get our website upgraded and modernized. And he's worked really, really hard on it. It's not there yet, but he is working on it. So I'd like to give him a round of applause and acknowledge him for all the work he's doing. So, and Jared is a newer field investigator. He's an assistant chapter director. I mean, he's really contributed a lot of energy and time and enthusiasm to the chapter. So we really can't thank him enough for that. And of course, down here on the computer, trying to get this all running. So gotta appreciate it. Yeah, sure. Give him another applause for that. Yeah, I'll give him a round of applause for that. Yeah, he says he's not doing that good. And you know what? Our guest techie, let's give our guest techie round of applause too. What is our guest techie's name? Audra. I'll give Audra a round of applause for helping us out on the tech stuff. That's, as I like to say on my Facebook videos, that's good stuff. Yeah, good stuff. That's noise. All right. So those are on my Facebook videos for my job, not for Minnesota MUFON. So just so you know, you won't hear that on the Minnesota MUFON unless I decide to bring it over there. Okay, so it's time for our joke of the month. You've heard of our joke of the month. We're up for our joke of the month. And I'm gonna give you a heads up this time. It's possible I may have used this joke once before. I'm not sure, so you might know it, but I don't think I have. But in case you know it, I may have used it, but I think it's a new one. But we've got a sponsor this month. So our sponsor this month is MarsCon 2024. Shh, that's classified. It's on March 8th through the 10th, 2023 at the Hilton Minneapolis St. Paul Mall of America, 3800 American Boulevard East in Bloomington, Minnesota, 55425. MarsCon is a fan-run science fiction convention for all ages held every March in the Twin Cities area. At MarsCon, you'll find panel discussions, gaming, parties, guest of honor presentations, music of many kinds, an art show, a film and anime room, a science room, dealer's room, charity auction, and masquerade. But wait, there's more. Their Con and a Con comedy music track attracts performers and listeners from across the country. It's a veritable smorgasbord of sci-fi. Various ticket packages available. Go to https:/marscon.org/2024 for all the details. But keep it quiet. It's classified. And I did do a presentation at MarsCon earlier this year, and I met the woman who's currently playing R2-D2 and the Mandalorian. So it's very cool to meet R2-D2 in person and stuff. So a lot of cool stuff, very cool people to meet. So I really had a good time there. So definitely check out marscon.org for more details. So I want to see some hands. Are you ready for the joke of the month? Is everybody ready for the joke of the month? I see two people. Okay, it looks like most of you are ready for the joke of the month. Okay. So again, it's a Star Wars joke. So how do you unlock doors on Kashyyyk? Now, to clue you in case you don't know, Kashyyyk is Chewbacca's homeworld. So this is Chewbacca's homeworld. All of Chewbacca's people live on Kashyyyk. So how do you unlock doors on Kashyyyk? And if someone on chat, keep watching the chat, see if someone gets it on chat. But does anybody know? And how do you unlock doors on Kashyyyk? Any guesses? Any guesses? Any guesses? Anyone guessing online? Oh, got a hand in the back. No, there are doors on Kashyyyk. Yes, and you've got a guess online. Cash app. That's not bad. That's not bad, but that is not correct. Oh my goodness, someone got it with a Wookiee. Oh, I'll get that. Who's that? Who's that? Who got the joke of the month? Fran Sullivan. Give Fran Sullivan a round of applause. She got the joke of the month. So nice work, Fran. Congratulations. If there's some way we can get our little giveaways to Fran, that'd be cool too. I don't know if we'll be able to do that, but that's just a thought. So with a Wookiee. So if you'd like to sponsor the Minnesota MUFON Joke of the Month or submit a joke to the Minnesota MUFON Joke of the Month, submit your request to me at mufontom@epcoachtom.com. So before we get into statistics and rankings, because that kind of moves right into what's up in Minnesota, let's go to my announcements. So MUFON's mission is the scientific study of UFOs for the benefit of humanity. That's the global organization's mission, the scientific study of UFOs for the benefit of humanity. And MUFON has some goals. How many goals does MUFON have? Oh, I see three. I see three goals is correct. So goal number one, we investigate UFO sightings and collect the data in the MUFON database for use by researchers worldwide. That's goal number one. Goal number 2 is we promote research on UFOs to discover the true nature of the phenomenon with an eye towards scientific breakthroughs and improving life on our planet. So that's goal number 2. And goal number 3 is we educate the public on the UFO phenomenon and its potential impact on society. And that's what we do here the second Saturday of every month in New Brighton or online. And like I said, I go to other organizations who want presentations. That's part of our education. So we meet here generally second Saturday of every month. We open the doors at 1 o'clock for social hour. We try to start the meeting at 2, give or take. If we've got a lot of content for the meeting, sometimes we start it early. So you always want to watch for, check our Facebook page. If you see us on Meetup, check our Meetup. And if you're on our e-blast, check our e-blast. We'll tell you if we're going to start early, but generally we try to start at 2, but sometimes we start earlier though. So, and meetings, we're going to try to have all meetings be hybrid. And this is hybrid. We've got people here in person and people on Zoom. That is the goal. Next month, I think is probably going to be all online. Does that sound right, Jared? Probably all online because we just don't have the volunteers to make it happen in person this month. So don't come here in New Brighton next month. Stay in the comfort of your own home and join us online at Zoom for the next meeting. So, and of course, as you saw, oh yes. Yeah, did people receive the email blast? Because we're switching from doing it personally. See hands if people got the email blast? People get email blast? I see 1 hand, 2 hands. Okay, so people got email blast. Okay, because we're switching over from doing it from personal account from a MailChimp account. So we want to make sure everybody's getting that. So, and if you'd like to join our e-list, I believe we've got a sign-in sheet at the back. You can add your email to the email list and we'll make sure to update you on everything that's going on. So as you've seen from everything happening down here, the table up front, I do not run this chapter all by myself. Oh no, I do not. I have lots and lots and lots of help. So I'm going to introduce to you some of the people that helped me make this chapter happen. So right off the bat, I'm the chapter director. My assistant director is right down here, Jared Nelson in front. He's also on the ERT team, and he's one of our programming coordinators. And back in the blue shirt, he is our chief communications, director of communications, chief investigator, ERT team, and STAR team manager. Round of applause for Bill McNeff. And our assistant chief investigator, our ERT member, and our programming coordinator is Anna Moss, right back by Bill. And way in the back, you may have met her when you checked in, our treasurer, Jan Swenson. Give Jan a big round of applause. Okay, so getting into today's meeting. So today's meeting, we're going to start off with what's up in Minnesota. It's probably going to be kind of short. I mean, even though we started late, I was kind of, wish we had more to it because it's going to be kind of a short what's up in Minnesota. So I'm going to take you through a presentation where I'm going to tell you about field investigation cases that have closed since our last meeting and new cases that we've gotten in since our last meeting. So you'll learn a little bit about the field investigation process and what's happening here in Minnesota at this time. And then we're going to watch a video from SCU. So SCU is an organization that stands for the Scientific Coalition for UAP Studies. So Scientific Coalition for UAP Studies. So UAP is an unidentified aerial phenomenon. It's the more modern term for UFOs, because if you think about it, if you think of an orb, people think of orbs, but a lot of times we don't think an orb is actually an object. It's not really solid. So, but it is an aerial phenomenon. So UAP kind of encompasses the phenomenon better. And UFO does have kind of a stigma to it after all the years of media and stuff. It's got that stigma where UAP doesn't have that stigma. So we're going to see a video from them called First Scientific Results for UAPx. I'm not sure what UAPx is. Hopefully they'll address that in the thing, but it's First Scientific Results for UAPx. We're going to watch part 1 of that here today. I'm hoping that everybody here in person and on Zoom can hear all of it. That's what I'm hoping. Because we'll do part 1 today. We'll do part 2 next month. And since part 2 is online, I know everyone will be able to see and hear it. And if there is people having problems with it on Zoom hearing it, let me know. Maybe we'll do the whole thing next month too as well. But you said? Oh, UAP Expedition. So X stands for expedition. So, ERT member, give Jared a round of applause for that, helping me out at spur of the moment. So that is what's happening today. And then next month, we're going to do again, what's up in Minnesota, and we'll do part 2 of the same video that we're watching today, First Scientific Results for UAPx or expeditions. In August, we're going to do what's up in Minnesota. We're not sure what the second half of the meeting is going to be. It's probably going to be a video presentation of some type, but I'm not sure because I'd really like to get all of this really smoothed out and running well before we're trying more video stuff. And if we have a speaker, that'd be fantastic. But the board's working on stuff. We just don't know what we're having for August yet. So Minnesota MUFON has a YouTube channel. So if you are on YouTube, go ahead and check out our YouTube channel. Go to youtube.com and put in Minnesota MUFON. And we've got almost 1,630 subscribers. We'd love to have you to subscribe to our channel. That does help us. We've currently got 36 videos out there. For the longest time, we had like 28 or 29 videos out there. So we've now jumped up to 36. And again, who could have helped us do that? Who could have helped us do that? Jared Nelson helped us get up to 36 videos. So give him a round of applause. And I think, did Joel Henry help with that too? Did Joel Henry assist with getting the videos out there or no? So, and Joel Henry helped with, give Joel Henry a round of applause. So the videos we've got out there, we've got video presentations from Minnesota MUFON of Paula Harris when she came in a couple times and spoke to us. Ken Storch, you may know of Ken Storch. He's probably, I don't know if he's been on Ancient Aliens, but he's been on a lot of different UFOs shows. He's a former police officer from, I think, Colorado area who's done UFO investigations. Sherry Wild, Ted Phillips, Grant Cameron. We've got some Minnesota MUFON members, Joe Swenson and the late Craig Lang, Experiencer Panel, and others. We've got all that out there. So yeah, go ahead and check out our YouTube channel and like those videos, comment on those videos, share those videos. Yeah. So, okay. So now we're almost time for What's Up in Minnesota. But what I want to know is who's here in this room for the first time? Who's never been here before? Any first timers? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Very cool. Oh, yo, 5. That's all right. I saw the elbow. There's an elbow. So 5 people. Cool. Very cool. So thank you. I want to thank you all for coming out. We do appreciate having you here. So I'm going to invite you. So we have people who've never been here before. I like to invite them. If they'd like to introduce themselves to us, what I'd like you to do is give us your name and just where you're from and how you heard of us, if you'd like to. Would you be interested in starting, sir? Mm. Cool. Cool. Very cool. Very, very cool. Thanks for coming out. Give him a round of applause. And when you say St. Cloud, are you went to MUFON meetings up there, or did you go to LaPig meetings? Or was it LaPig? Do you know? It was MUFON. Okay, just checking because I know we had some LaPig meetings happening up in St. Cloud for a while. So yeah, LaPig was run by one of our former chapter directors, Lorna Hunter, and LaPig stands for Lakes Area Paranormal Interest Group. So it was a LaPig. Oh. Lorna's the boss. Yep, she gets it done. So yeah, we miss Lorna. She's great. So yeah, that may have been a LaPig meeting. So, or she could have done a MUFON meeting up there too. Who knows? She was very ambitious with stuff too. So, sir, did you want to introduce yourself?
Name's Marty Byers, Roseville, about 10 minutes away from here. I always thought UFOs were TV. I watched Project Blue Book back in the day. And then I had a sighting down here in St. Paul area back in 88, 89, something like that. Or 98, 99. And I just blew it up. I can't talk about it. And then we got talking about 3 years ago to somebody else about Project Blue Book. They mentioned MUFON. Okay, fine, whatever. And finally come back in my mind, I went to look it up. Thought about it for about a year. And yeah. Time I take a look into it. And I am currently studying to be a field investigator.
Cool, nice. Let's give him a big round of applause. I know there's been a lot of people who'd heard about us and like didn't want to come for a long time. And actually, I was one of them. I'd heard about us for a long time before I ever got here. So, I can relate. And as far as the not being a believer, because it's all on TV, it's funny how that works. It's all on TV until you see it right in front of your face. Then it's not all on TV anymore. That can be a jarring experience sometimes. So yeah, I appreciate that. So, lady and gentleman, would either one of you like to introduce yourself, or both, or however you'd like to do that? Hmm. Cool. Thank you for coming on. Oh, cool. Give him a big round of applause for coming from Foley. Okay. Are there any new MUFON members in the room? Anyone who joined MUFON recently? Any new members? No new members. That's okay. You could become a new member for next month. That's a possibility. Is there anyone here who is a member who renewed their membership recently? Anyone renewed their membership recently? You renewed your membership recently. Did you? So you renewed your membership as well? You did? Did you want to tell, because you're a long time member. We haven't seen you in person in such a long time. You did your birthdays and your half birthdays with us, and where have you been? I know people may have forgotten about it. Why don't you introduce yourself and tell us why you renewed your membership? People. Oh, so we're a cure for boredom. Is that it? Cool. Well, Jenny, it's great to have you back. I know some people who've been here a long time remember Jenny, but a lot of you may not have met her before. Let's give Jenny a round of applause for coming back. And you said you renewed your membership. Why did you? Yeah, that's perfect. Sure. Yeah. What drove you? What's important about renewing your membership to you?
Learning,
Okay.
learning from my observations and from members' observations.
Exactly. Yes, definitely. I've met a lot of people who feel like if they've got like some sort of status or title that they can't learn from anyone who's not that, but they can learn from above. And I totally reject that. I can learn something from anyone. If I can't, the problem's in here or something. But so yeah, I totally get that. So yeah, thank you for renewing your membership. Give a round of applause for renewing his membership. Okay, did I miss anybody? Introductions, new members, first time members, anybody? Going once, going twice, going thrice. Okay, let's move on. All right, so let's see. So we're gonna go back to our slides. Let's see if my clicker is still working. We're gonna look at, we have someone new online, 3 of Stones. Welcome. Is that person telling why they joined or what brought them to us?
This is my first meeting. I've been a MUFON member for a few months, but a long time following.
Well, fantastic. Thank you for joining. I'm glad you made it to the meeting. Hope you enjoy the meeting. So yeah, it should be a good one. So. Oh, there we go. So MUFON statistics. So this is from June 20 or June 10 this year. So what I do, so I go into our database. So our database is called CMS, which stands for Case Management System. So when someone has a UFO sighting, they go to the MUFON website, and when they report the case, it goes into our Case Management System database. So it's got lots of stats, and I can pull statistics and reports on that. So I'm going to show you statistics of things that happened since the day of our last meeting in May through yesterday. So I pulled this within the past 24 hours. You're getting really current stuff from around, mostly it's around the country, I think. So let's take a look at what we've got that's been happening in the past month. So again, so it's from May 13th through yesterday. There were 595 reports. And if you look at our reports, United States had 447, United Kingdom had 36, Canada with 30, France with 23, Australia with 10, Hungary 11, Portugal 5, getting all the way down. Thailand had 1, Turkey had 1, Venezuela had 1, Slovenia had 1, for a total of 595 reports. So, and so a lot of you, if the people who are here for the first time, you haven't seen reports like this before. One thing I like to point out is it can be a very misleading report. So this is the numbers that we get into our database. So you might look at this and go, oh, obviously most of the reports are in the United States and the United Kingdom because they've got the most reports. Which that could indicate that, but that's not really the reality. It's because when you get down to these other countries, like, oh, look at me going back. What am I doing? Let's get back to where I was. I get back. I'm jumping all over the place. Updates. Wow, I jumped ahead like crazy. I was so excited. Okay. So when you get down to these other, some of these countries down below, people may not have internet access. They may not have ever heard of MUFON. They might not speak English. They might not, there's so many other obstacles and barriers to them getting reports to us. So even the 447 in the United States, that's not sightings in the United States. That's just sightings that people have had that they chose to report to us. So that number could be double, it could be triple. It's hard to say what the actual numbers is. So when you look at that and kind of go 595 globally isn't a lot, but what it really could be, and based on like our news and our media and stuff, you'd almost think that this stuff isn't really happening. But these are actually low numbers. I think these are low numbers compared. Because I think last month we were around 1,000, we're up in like 900 range. So, and again, that's 900 was what we received. So this is an active phenomenon that's happening around the world that people are seeing, and we're not hearing about it on our news and our media, or at least not that much that I've seen, except for the times when they're cool and ask to interview me live. But that's another story though. That doesn't happen very often, but occasionally they want to talk to me for the news. So All right, so let's see. UFO rankings by state. Again, this is May 13th through June 9th. California, it's about 48, Arizona 26, Texas 26, Florida 25. We are down here where we had five. We had fives in the last month. So so this is kind of a slow month. And I always say a typical month in Minnesota is roughly 6 to 8 cases. So five's a little on the low side. If we hit 10, that's unusually high. Last year during when all those SpaceX Starlink satellites were going up, everybody's case had jumped up. Ours had jumped up like 18 or 20, and most of them were SpaceX Starlink satellites. So this is a little bit smaller case month, for us, and it looks like kind of for the country too. So, and is there a way to get that off there so I can read the whole thing? I'd rather not have that if we can get that out of there. So, but yeah, we had 5. So when I do What's Up in Minnesota this month, you'd think I'd show you 5 cases, but I'm only going to show you 4. And I'll talk about why I'm showing you 4 and not 5 when we get to the cases that have come in this month. So I've got a few updates for you and 4 new cases that I'm going to show you. So MUFON shapes reported again, May 13th through yesterday. Lots of sphere, 103 spheres, 94 circles, 50 others, 44 triangles, 41 unknowns, 37 discs, all the way down to 3 crosses, 3 cones, and 3 Saturn-like objects. So I always like to talk about this when others, when we have new people here. Others and NA, so that's another interesting one too. So in other, when you look at all these shapes, they kind of make sense, like an egg, a boomerang, a tic tac, a chevron, a blimp. People kind of understand what those are. So the category of other is something where it doesn't really fit nicely into any of those shapes. And the example I like to use is if you're to look at the Starship Enterprise, and actually we did get a case here in Minnesota where someone said they saw something that looked like the Starship Enterprise. But if you're to see the Starship Enterprise, you wouldn't really call it a disc, and there's a disc portion to it, but you wouldn't call it a disc. And there's tubes or cylinders, but you really wouldn't call it a cylinder. And there's an oval shape, so it's a bunch of different things that doesn't fit nicely into any of those. So we do have another category for that. And the NA not applicable could be they either didn't have a description, or it could be they've seen an entity. They actually saw a being, but they didn't see a craft. There might not have been a UFO sighting, so there's not really any shape that they could describe with it. So that could be what that is. So those are the shapes reported in the past month. And come on, is it? Okay. Distance stats. So from May 13th through yesterday, we had 65 reports that were less than 100 feet away. We had 89 from 101 feet to 500 feet. 99 were from 501 feet to a mile. 101 were over a mile. 72 were just unknown, and 35 they didn't put in any value at all. And there were 20 landings, hoverings, or takeoffs, and 27 entities observed. I know, wow, 27 entities. And so, because, and that's actually a low number. So I said our sightings were low. That's kind of a low number. A typical month, it's usually in the low to mid 30s is what I expect to see. So 27 is not a lot. So, and again, it just, to me, it talks to the validity of what's happening there, because, and again, you're not hearing this on the news, but people say, oh, it's swamp gas, it's Venus, they're seeing all this other stuff. Well, when you're actually seeing a being or entity in front of you, it's hard to dismiss that or write that off as swamp gas or Venus or Saturn. It's not the case. So, and 27 entities, that is not necessarily in 27 different sightings. That could be, a half a dozen or a dozen sightings where they're seeing multiple entities at the same time, but there was 27 entities reported to us. So before I move on, so that's kind of our stats. Any of our new people, do you have any questions about the stats? Yes.
In general, is this information or validated, or is it just self-reported?
It's what's been reported to us. So in the mix of these, there could be hoaxes, there could be IFOs, but this is just the reports that we're getting. This is what people are telling us, though. So great question, though. Any other questions about the stats or reports so far from any of our guests or visitors? No? Okay, let's move on. So our CMS ranking, so CMS, again, that's our case management system, that's our cases. So they rank how all the states are doing based on a number of factors. And so we've got 36 chapters that are at 100%, which is down from 42 in May, with a total of 50 chapters. So, and 36 chapters at 100% is actually really, really good. Because when I first started seeing this report, the common number that I used to see was about the mid-teens, like 15 to 18 was very common. The past few years, it's been like 30 or over all the time. So it just speaks to our chapter and our field investigators and their commitment to the dedication and what they're doing and the really good job they're doing. And I note that it is 50 chapters And if you look at up at the top, we've got California here listed twice. So California is such a big state that we do have it separated out in two. So you might go, how is there 50 chapters if California is listed twice? And sometimes we may see as many as 53 chapters on this report. So that'd be 50 states. California's twice, that's 51. Washington, D.C. is separate, so that's 52. And sometimes I think it's international brings up 53, but sometimes I think Puerto Rico brings up 53. So there's not always all the same chapters on there every month, but so that's why the numbers look like they are. And where are we? We're doing we're 16, so 100%. Assigned cases we're at 5 out of 5, and our completed cases we're at, is it 13 out of 13 or 12 out of 12? I can't really see it, but that's basically what it is. So. And really, when it comes to cases being assigned and cases being completed, that really falls into two categories. So cases being assigned on time, that's our chief investigators. That's Bill McNeff and that's Anna Scott. So let's give them a round of applause for getting us some cases assigned on time. And when it comes to getting cases completed on time, that's our field investigators. We never give our field investigators enough credit, but they sure deserve it, because without them, I mean, MUFON, really, they are the heart, blood, and soul of MUFON. So our field investigators, let's give all our field investigators a big round of applause. Oh, Jenny's asking me the tough question. I think we've got Bill, does 13 sound about right? Anna, does 13 field investigators sound about right? About right. And we've had, like he was saying, he wants to be a field investigator, studying to be a field investigator. Within the past 2 or 3 months, I had 5 people within like a week or two all send me emails. They all want to join. They all want to be field investigators. I'm like, this is great. And so, you know, and that number could be going up. So that's yeah. So, but good question, Jenny. But don't put me on. You come back here after all this, and you put me on the spot. How can you do that? I thought we were friends. What's that about? So, okay. So monthly Skywatch. This is a June Skywatch. This is in the MUFON Journal. So if you're a MUFON member, you'll get this every month in the journal, but I share it with you here anyways. So June 1st through the 2nd, Mars was in a beehive cluster visible through binoculars. On the 4th, we had Venus at its greatest elongation. On the 5th, we had a full moon. Coming up on the 18th, we've got a new moon at 4:39 Universal Time. June 21st is the solstice. The North Pole of the Earth will be tilted toward the sun, which will have reached its northernmost position in the sky and will be directly over the Tropic of Cancer, conjunction of Moon and Venus. That's coming up on the 21st. So for more updates and scheduled launch visits, go to spaceflightnow.com, and of course monthly sky maps is skymaps.com. So there's your monthly sky watch for the month of June. And again, as a MUFON member, it's always in your journal, and I'll share it here with you too at our meetings. Now, what's up in Minnesota? We're going to start off with updates. So our updates are cases that I've shown you in the past that weren't completed at the time that have now completed since the last meeting. So we're going to do those first, and then we'll go into the new cases. We're going to start with our updates. Case number 129272-U took place on December 31st, 2022. Man, those ETs should be all partying on New Year's Eve. What's up with that? At 7:40 p.m., a circle was seen in FB1, that valet classification FB1. We're going to talk about valet classifications when we get to the new cases. So it took place in Beltrami County. They saw reddish orange glowing circles slowly moving east to west silently. So just a segment, they were in the room watching a movie when they heard their cousin or roommate yell from the room that there were orange flying things outside above the trees. Come out and look. Instead of going to a room where she saw them, immediately went outside with her iPhone. And Peter Collins was investigating this one. It was in progress when I showed it to you before. And let's see, what do we got? And it's not advancing. Oh, yeah, but I need this to advance for me. So these are some of the pictures that they submitted. So again, interesting pictures, but there's just so little detail to work with. And with videos and pictures from updates, I kind of go through faster because in the new ones, I show you more, but it's completed as an unknown others. So attempted to phone witness, phone number has been disconnected, unable to run video format, not by support of my computer software. Stills from video look good based on good description and video grabs. This will get a disposition of unknown UAV by Bill McNeff. Close that out, or Chief Investigator Bill McNeff. So thank you, Bill, for closing that out for us. So yeah, unknown other, it's tough. You know, I can't stress enough how important the witness interview is when we can't get a hold of the witness, because some people where you see, let's go back. So see how this short description, I try to grab exactly what they put in there. Some people's short descriptions are just a word or two or less. And sometimes their detailed description is also very short too. Sometimes the detailed is very long, but sometimes we don't get that much. So it is important to interview that witness to really get a good feel of what actually happened. So it's unknown, and UAV is unknown aerial vehicle. So that's what that is. So thank you, Bill, for closing that out for us. Case number 129523-U, they didn't have a date for us. They didn't give us a date, but the time was 12 a.m. A sphere was seen, MA1, maneuver of the first kind. We'll go into that a little more in the new cases in Hennepin County. Their short description was feeling they find or follow me. So that's exactly what their short description was. And this is their entire detailed description, that I have pictures and video of an object or objects that I can't identify. So Steve Hero was working on that, and Steve Hero gets on a case, man. It's like you trying to get a chew toy away from a Doberman. You can't. He's on it. He's on it. He'll take care of that case for you. So, so I'm not surprised it's closed out. So, let's see what Steve found out. He got. Okay, so yeah, and if you were here last month, this image might look familiar to you because we've seen this before. This person submitted about 4 or 5 different cases using very similar images, and some were the same images. So this might look very familiar to you. So, we got here again. And again, very different from the first two, but you can almost see that same type of shape within there. What I'm not sure what that streak is, but yeah. So this person has submitted a few cases with all the very same or similar pictures. So, so Steve, it's a man-made object. So here's some segments of what the conclusion was on this. The witness had submitted several photos and videos, but after the interview, the witness admitted that he had been seeing objects for several years now and decided to submit all photos and videos at once. He has no clear recollection as to the specific dates or times that the objects were seen, and he admitted to drinking on several occasions. Now, you can't draw a conclusion from that. Drunk people can see unidentified flying objects, so you can't make the conclusion, oh, he's drinking. It's you know that it's useful information, but it's not enough to draw a full conclusion. So I wouldn't want to jump to that conclusion. The case was difficult without the exact dates to investigate and only given approximates with photos and videos. It is my conclusion that the objects seen were most likely man-made, being drones and building signs or tower lights. There are 4 other cases that are information only: 2968 or 685, 29686, 29526, and 129,525 is a witness decided to submit photos he's had over several years. So completed as an IFO man-made object. Case number 124128-U took place. They didn't have a date for us. The date was empty, and at 12 a.m. a teardrop was seen, valet classification of MA1, so maneuver of the first kind in Fairmont. Large bright orb with 2 friends accompanying. So here's just some segments of what they had said. What you likely don't know is the people of Fairmont. So this is the one where people of Fairmont are seeing sightings a lot, but they're not reporting them. So it's very common. This person moved from out of Fairmont to Fairmont, and this person wanted to report the stuff. So apparently a lot of people in Fairmont see these, but they're not getting reported. So Bill McNeff was working on this one. Let's see what Bill McNeff came up with on this one. So here's a screenshot of the video, and I think what they're talking about is probably this right up here is my guess. I think these are probably like street lights or cars, but it's just really impossible to tell from this screenshot. So completed IFO natural phenomenon. So nothing to indicate anything other than stars or a planet. Disposition will be IFO natural phenomenon. So Bill McNeff, thank you for completing that for us. And Bill, did you want to comment on this case or natural phenomenon on IFOs at all, or no? That's enough. Okay. Whenever I'm showing completion of cases and field investigators are here, I do like to give them credit, and I do like to give them the opportunity. If they've got comments they'd like to make, I do like to let them speak up a little bit and shine, because I mean, I'm the one here up in front that everybody's looking at, but they're the ones that really did all the footwork and legwork and really got this stuff done. So we appreciate that. I want to make sure they get a little bit of the star shine too. No pun intended. So what's up in Minnesota? So these are all new cases. So these are cases we haven't seen before. We're gonna take a little bit more time with this. So these were submitted to us between May 13th and June 9th. So remember, this is the submit date. So we've actually got a really, really old case in here. So this case goes way before May 13th. So I'm gonna show you some overview of what we're gonna be looking at today. So here's the overview of the new cases. We've got 5 cases submitted. One is an ERT case, and I'll talk about that before if I leave the screen without talking about ERT, let me know, because I'll tell you why we're only going to show you that. So the submission date was May 13th of 2023 through 6/9/2023, but the date range of sightings, June 6th of 1938. Yeah, June 6th of 1938 through May 31st of 2023. That I should double check. I do have the right dates. June 6th of 1938. So if you think about it, MUFON just turned 54 years old. MUFON turned 54 years old at the end of May this year. So MUFON was started in 1969. This case predates MUFON by 60 years. So yeah, imagine that. Or I'm sorry, 30 years. So this case is, very, very old. So yeah, 85 years old. So very old case. We got one case of interest. So case of interest is when the cases come in to the CMS, they go to MUFON headquarters first before they're assigned to states, and MUFON kind of takes a look at them. And if they see a case that they think really might be something important or special, they'll mark it as a case of interest before they send it to the states. We've got one case of interest this month. And we have RCS, which is Rapid Close System. We have none of those. And that's the SpaceX satellites, or when we're getting a lot of those, we knew what they were. We didn't spend a lot of time on. We just closed them very quickly. So as far as the shapes, we've got one circle reported, one square rectangle. Remember that report where I showed you with all the different shapes? These are the shapes that happened in Minnesota last month. One circle, one square rectangle, one fireball, one cylinder, and one sphere. Our valet classifications were 3 AN1s, one AN3, 3 CE1s, and 1 FB1. So I'm going to talk about that in a second too, but I do want to go back to this ERT. So ERT, so I can show you any case that comes in or details about it, except for an ERT case. ERT stands for Experience or Resource Team. So with an ERT case, there may or may not be a UFO sighting attached to it, but this is something where the experiencers contacted us and they're looking for resources, hence the name Experience or Resource Team. So while we do want to close these cases out like we would a normal case, the expectation is the relationship with the witness could go on much, much longer because they may be looking for resources, could be therapists or support groups or answers to questions. So it's not so much about investigating a UFO sighting as much as being a resource for these people. We've actually got 3 ERT members in the room right now. So Bill McNeff is an ERT member, Anna Scott is an ERT member, and Jared Nelson is an ERT member too. And do any of you 3 want to talk a little bit about ERT and kind of tell us what ERT is all about? Looks like Jared wants to, but he wants to see if Bill or Anna wants to first. Oh, I did. Oh, thank you. I always stumble with that. So, but thank you. Yep. Thank you. Bill or Jared, want to add anything to that? Cool. And I will add too that you'd think that ERT members must be field investigators, and that's not entirely true. It's getting close to that, but I think there's still a couple ERT members that aren't field investigators. Am I correct in stating that? It's no longer the case. Okay. Right. Thank you. Because yeah, for a while you could be ERT and not be field investigator. Now they've changed that. So ERT is kind of a newer offering or service of MUFON. So we're still kind of integrating it and kind of learning about it. And it's kind of evolving on its own too. So I'm still learning about it too. So thank you for that clarification, Anna. Oh, and valet classification. So let's see. Somebody mentioned Project Blue Book. So I'm assuming everybody's familiar with Project Blue Book, the Air Force study of UFOs and extraterrestrial phenomenon. Well, the leader of, so when they did Project Blue Book, they wanted it not to be just an Air Force thing, because they thought if it's the military government just doing this and debunking everything, it would look fishy. So they wanted someone outside the government or the military to do that. So they recruited a very well-known and respected physicist named J. Allen Hynek to be the head of Project Blue Book. And he had a mentee, and his mentee was Jacques Vallée. And when you get lots of scientific data, you want to start categorizing and classifying them in different ways. And Vallée classifications are categorizing classification of UFO sightings named after Jacques Vallée. And so they come in a number of different kinds. So I'm going to talk to you about, so we're going to see one AN3. So AN is one. I'll tell you a little bit about each of the 4 types, because there's 4 types. We're only going to see 3 different types today. So AN stands for anomaly. We're going to see one anomaly. And an AN3 is an anomaly of the 3rd kind. So it's an anomaly of the 3rd kind. So MUFON defines an anomaly of the 3rd kind as, let me get my magic papers. Not that kind of magic papers, come on. Anomalies which is with associated entities. This class could include reports of ghosts, yetis, and other instances of cryptozoology, as well as elves and spirits. So yeah, anomalies that are associated with entities. So, and just, I'll tell you an anomaly 1 too, so you know what we mean by anomaly. Anomaly 1 do not have long-lasting physical effects such as amorphous lights or unexpected explosions. So hear an explosion and there's a yeti or some other cryptid. So that could be an anomaly of the 3rd kind. So 3 CE1s. So we're going to see 3 CE1 cases, and CE is close encounter. So I'm sure everyone's heard of the movie Close Encounter of the 3rd Kind. That's a Vallée classification. That's a Vallée, Close Encounter of the 3rd Kind is a Vallée classification. So we're going to see 3 close encounters of the 1st kind. So MUFON defines a close encounter of the 1st kind as class of objects seen on the ground or at a short distance to the observer. So That's a close encounter of the first kind. And we're going to see one FB1. So one FB1. FB stands for flyby. So an FB1, a flyby, is simply a sighting of a UFO flying by in the sky. And this is the category most commonly reported. So we're going to see one of those. And I should say, when I say 1, 3, and 1, it's not 1, 3, and 1 because our ERT case is not going to is popped out of that. So we're not going to see the ERT case, which is unfortunate too, because the ERT case is the 1938 case. And it's the case of interest. So I'd love to show you that stuff, but you're not going to see any of that today because those are all our ERT cases, which I can't show you anything about that. So let's jump into the 4 cases that I can show you about. Case number, what do we got? Case number 130951-U. And the -U, and actually, let me go back a second. So let's go back a second. I was still going forward. No, I was going back. Did it jump that far back? Why did it go way back there? I'm just going backwards now. You'd think with 2 buttons, it'd be easier to manage this. Okay, so anomalies, close encounters, and flybys. There is another type, a maneuver. So there are maneuvers. So and each of these kinds, they go from the first kind all the way up to the 5th kind. So there's anomalies of the first kind, second kind, third kind, fourth kind, 5th kind. So the one that's not listed here is a maneuver. So a maneuver of the first kind gathers those UFO observations that involve an object with a discontinuous trajectory, such as a drop, a maneuver, or a loop. So so it could be anomalies, close encounters, maneuvers, or flybys. Those are our 4 types of cases. So, and so where are we at? So event. So 4/18/2023 at 8:33 p.m. a fireball was seen. CE1, so a close encounter of the first kind, was seen in Stillwater. Big, bright, glowing, hovering orb changed to a circle disc with a gray shadowed hovered wired green and white lights going around the exterior. That's their full short description. That's exactly what they put in. And her detailed description was really, 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 really long. So I read it. I'm just giving you a synopsis. So there's a woman in a car. She felt she was being chased by an orb one night. I think it even got over to her car and was like matching her car's speed. It really, really frightened her quite a bit. And since then she's been experiencing orbs in her vicinity. She's seen them shape shifting. Her daughters, her boyfriend, and her neighbors have also witnessed these events. So she was really shaken up by this one. Anna Scott is working on this one, and I don't know, it's in progress. Anna, do you want to comment on this case at all or no? Okay, cool. So I think we've got some pictures with this one too, or do we? Oh yeah, so we got pictures with this one. So obviously this is really hard to tell what this is. I think these are what she's seeing, but it's really hard to say. Some of the other pictures, it's a little more obvious what they're indicating. But so yeah, obviously they're looking at this right here. I'm assuming that's what they're indicating there with that one, because it's similar to this one. And that's actually interesting because it does look like some sort of craft or shape there, which could be a drone, could be any number of things. But it does seem to have like a structure, which I kind of like about that. And for our guests too, this is a good picture because we've got structure, we've got a horizon, we can see this. If we could work with the witness, we could identify exactly where this is. We could go out to that location and we could get some estimates on where that might be in relation to. Where like sometimes it's just a black view with just a dot, which is helpful, but there's not a lot we can do with that. So, and there is a video that comes with this one, and I don't know if it's the next one or not, but it's a very short video. She does drop an F-bomb. I try to give everyone a heads up when there's more vulgarity in the video. It's hard to hear it, so if you want to hear the F-bomb, you're gonna have to listen closely. If you don't want to hear the F-bomb, just don't pay much attention. It'll zip right by you. So I'm not sure if it's the next one. So yeah, and this is an interesting one too. So I'm not sure if there's a crop one. So it does look like there's a structure or a craft here. I think the next one is the video. So let's take a look at the video. Okay, so this is the video, and you get a better idea. You'll see that structure that was in the first picture. Let's take a look at this and see what we get here. So now we're obviously on a street, and see, this actually looks like a screenshot of that first picture, because there's that 2 lights that I said I thought that's what it was. It could be this over here. So, but obviously we've got a turning on the painted down there. So a little bit more reference points with this one than the first picture. So, and I guess we didn't get any audio, which is fine. So nobody gets to hear the F-bomb. So take that. So if you want to hear the F-bomb, you have to go get one on your own. So, all right. Case number 131226-U took place on June 1st of 1981. So this one does go back a ways. 10:10 p.m. A sphere was seen, CE1 in Brooklyn Park. Appeared to be a ball of fire about the size of a basketball that rose from near the ground and stopped directly above me before moving away. So this is, they put a lot of information in this one too. So I'm just going to give you a synopsis. This is a medical professional and had just dropped off his date and saw what appeared to be a fire near the garage. So he actually got out to investigate because he wanted to see if the garage or the brush was on fire. He wanted to make sure to put that out. And as he got out, it rose up and started elevating, and it hovered toward him, and it got over his head, and it hovered over his head for a few seconds, I think it's about 20 feet off the ground. Then it moved past him and went over the house across the street. And he still thought this could be a fire hazard. It was a fireball. So he went across the street to make sure that nothing was ablaze. And he got across the street, and this very strong feeling of fear took over him. He felt really, really frightened. This feeling of fear just took over him. He got so freaked out. He ran back to his car and jumped in, and he took off. And so he was in the medical profession. So he was really shooken up by this, and he really wanted to kind of protect his reputation and stuff. So he didn't talk about it with anybody. He really kept quiet about it. And over the years, he would casually share about it with friends and stuff. And now, so from 1981 to now, so he's now bringing it forward and now talking about it. So it's taken, and that's not uncommon that it happens, where someone is really, really upset by their sighting, that it does take them a long time to come forward with that. So that is assigned to Bill Auden, and Bill is here in the room. And I don't know, Bill, have you had a chance to even look at this? Have you talked to the witness at all? Do you want to comment on this? Just read through it. Okay, cool. So when Bill completes this case, we'll update you on what Bill finds out. I don't think there's no pictures or anything on this one. I don't think so. Case number 131376-U took place on May 31st of this year at 6:37 p.m. A square or rectangle was seen, CE1, so close encounter of the first kind, in Deer River, which is in Itasca County. Greenish blue orb changes from round to square to a ship. So that's their short description. This is their full detailed description. Traveling back to my home the other day off of County Road 19 and County Road 238 in Deer River, noticed a cloud that seemed unusual, started taking pictures, did not have a visual on the green orb until review of the picture. So Steve Hero, remember, he's the one get the treat from the Doberman. He'll have this finished next time, I'm sure, but Steve Hero, it's assigned to him. And so a lot of you who have seen What's Up in Minnesota before, I want to ask you a question, because there's a comment that he makes here that raised a flag for me. So I want to see if you picked up on anything. As you look at that detailed description, is there anything in there that might jump out to you that might be indicative of something? Anyone have a guess what I saw that caught my attention? And let's do non-field investigator search, because Jared's like, I think I know. Was that a hand up or just stretching? No? No? Anyone have an idea what comment is in there that caught my attention? Okay, I'll open up the field. Oh, yeah. Oh, look at that. Seen in the pictures, but not with his naked eye. Give him a round of applause for that. So very good. And I think we've got 5 pictures. So I'm going to show you all 5 pictures. I don't think there's video with this one. They're nice photographs, but so here's the first, come on. Okay, so here's the first picture. I believe what he's talking about is this right here, this little bluish green orb. And if you're looking at this picture now, if you've been here before, you might start to have an idea. You might also know what this is. So I'll share with you what I think it is, but and so in our next picture, so our bluish green orb has moved. So now it's over here. Remember, it was up here. Now it's down here. So this is, I think, what he's talking about, bluish green orb. He says it flattens to a disc and then becomes a ship. And I'm not seeing that, but so here, so now we see it over here. So it's moved again. So it was up here, it was down here. Now it's up over here. And then moving on here, I think it's, because I did see it. Oh, it's right. Oh, shoot. Gotta be careful. Yeah, it's a. I wish this clicker was, can't tell if I'm going forward or backward now. I should have put numbers on these. So this time it's right here. I think this is backward. And this time it's right over here. And yeah, this time it's right here. So we see it moving around. I don't see it turning into an object though, but that's what I'm seeing. I believe that blue orb is what he is seeing. So I think I heard someone say it. I think I know what it is. Does anybody here think they know? Because I've talked about this in other cases. Oh, here, a hand goes up over here. Another visitor. What do you think that is? Well, yeah. Reflection on the windshield from something inside. That sounds good. That's not what I think it is, but that's a good guess though. That makes sense. Anybody else have an idea what they think that is? Okay, so now remember, he said he didn't see it with his eyes, but he saw it in the pictures. So I'm going to back up a little bit if I'm backing up. So I'm backing up. And this is almost, let's see. So this is almost classic. Now remember, we've got the dot right here. And what we've talked about before in other meetings is lens flares. So there's things that happen with a lens flare. So one thing you need with a lens flare is you need a really bright source of light. And we've got a very bright source of light. Now, the source of light, remember, doesn't have to be in the picture. It could be outside the picture, still could create a flare in the picture, but we've actually got the source of light right here in the picture, and we've got the lens flare. So what the lens flare is, where he thought it was a windshield, that makes a lot of sense. It's a windshield, but with a lens flare, there's a very bright source of light, and the light comes into the camera, and there's an actual reflection happening inside the camera. It's bouncing around inside the camera. So it's not on the windshield. It's not out in real time. So when he said he didn't see it with his bare eyes, but he saw it in the picture, that immediately made me think that there's something, an anomaly with the camera. And this is very normal. We get these. So this is, I wouldn't classify this as a hoax. I'd classify it as an identified anomaly of some sort, but that's what I think it is. But Steve is investigating this one. We'll see how Steve closes out. Because if it's an object, Steve, trust me, Steve's going to find out about it. So let's go back to our next case. So yeah, so our next case, come on. Okay, case number 131470-U, and this might be our last case for today too. August 8th of 2020. So it's got a couple years on it. At 11:20 p.m., a circle was seen, FB1, so flyby of the first kind, in Long Beach. When I heard Long Beach, I'm like, California? Nope, Pope County, so Long Beach, Minnesota. 3 lights moved equidistantly in a triangle formation and then quickly accelerated at an unprecedented speed, leaving in beams of light and disappearing. I was sitting outside around a fire pit with several family members when I was the only one noticed 3 lights in the sky moving equidistantly from each other in a triangle shape, slowly move and then change direction, speed off so fast that the light looked like a beam and then vanished. So Joel Henry, it's been assigned to Joel Henry. This one I think just came in yesterday or the day before. So I think we just assigned it to Joel yesterday. So I don't think he's had a chance to look at it yet. And I don't think we've got any pictures up. So no pictures on that one. So, and that is What's Up in Minnesota. So that's the end of What's Up in Minnesota. So